Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 2. I am Francis Edit, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government plans new policy to track public spending. Supreme Court restrains CBN from implementing deadline for all Naira notes validity. Plus, the toll in Turkey's Syria quake rises above 9,500. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for staying there. We begin this afternoon with a report that the federal government says that it plans to launch a new policy for public finance management to generate revenue and manage its rising expenditures. The policy, referred to as the bottom-up cash planning policy, will be launched on February 10th for effective tracking of government spending. The acting accountant general of the Federation, Sylvia Okoliabo, disclosed this in Abuja at the training program on bottom-up cash planning policy for accountants of various ministries, departments and agencies. According to him, shortly after the pilot rollout of the Government Integrated Financial Management Information System alongside the Treasury Single Account in April 2012, the process of implementing an efficient cash management system commenced. And while the federal government has declared Funtua Inland Dry Port in Katsina State as a port of origin and final destination for the import and export of cargoes, which will help promote international trade. According to a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations, the Minister of Transportation, Henshaw Okuibke, the declaration, which was made on behalf of the federal government by the Minister of Transportation, Muazu Sambo, was coming many years after the establishment of the Funtua Island Dry Port. Sambo explained that the Funtua Inland Dry Port will be a customs port in accordance with the provisions of the Customs and Excise Management Act, Cap C-45, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and will have all the prerequisites of an international port. He said that the importance of Katsina State as the commercial domain in the trans-Saharan trade route with huge agricultural produce and trade in local and export volumes qualify the state for an inland dry port. Away from that, the Digital Cooperation Organization (DCO) and the International Organization to Promote Digital Prosperity for All has called for an open collaboration among nations to bridge digital divide. In a statement, the organization gave the ministerial declaration at its second General Assembly in Riyadh. The statement called for increased international dialogue to identify and promote successful approaches and impactful initiatives that will empower nations to create sustainable, inclusive and equitable growth of the digital economy. The DCO also called for international cooperation to coordinate efforts and develop sustainable solutions that were specifically tailored to address four major concerns such as policies and regulations, micro, small and medium enterprises, digitalization, digital skills and education, and digital transformation. On the new Naira crisis, the Supreme Court of Nigeria has restrained the federal government from implementing the February 10 deadline of the old 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes to stop being legal tender. Recall that the three northern states, Kaduna, Kogi and Zamfara, had in a motion ex parte filed on February 3rd prayed the apex court to hold the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) now redesign policy. A seven-man panel of the Supreme Court, led by Justice John Okoro, in a unanimous ruling, granted an interim injunction restraining the federal government, CBN, commercial banks, among others, from implementing the February 10th deadline for the old Naira notes to stop being a legal tender. The court further held that a federal government, CBN, commercial banks must not continue with a deadline pending the determination of a notice in respect of the issue of February 15th. On electoral matters, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Mahmood Yakubu, has briefed the Federal Executive Council (FEC), chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, at the State House, Abuja. The President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, said that the briefing is on the Commission's readiness for the nationwide exercise. Recall that Yakubu had met with the National Security Advisor, Babagana Mangono, and the Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, where he expressed concerns over the current cash crunch. According to reports, the INEC chairman is expected to appear at the Council of State meeting on Friday alongside the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba Alkali, to discuss the February 25 presidential and National Assembly elections, as well as the March 11th governorship and state houses of assembly poll. Meanwhile, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), Mahmood Yakubu, said that the February 25th and March 11 elections will hold despite the fuel scarcity and limited availability of Naira notes nationwide. Yakubu revealed this after briefing the President, Muhammadu Buhari, and others members of the Federal Executive Council at the State House, Abuja. He said the Commission has settled the two major possible obstacles to its operations: fuel scarcity and the scarcity of Naira notes. In the meantime, the European Union Election Observation Mission has promised to deploy 100 observers across Nigeria to monitor the forthcoming general elections in the country. The observers will include 7 members of the EU Parliament, election technology analysts who will be deployed for the first time by the mission, 9 media analysts, 5 social media analysts, legal analysts, political analysts, amongst others. According to the Union Mission team, part of the activities of the mission will include observing and assessing the impartiality and performance of the election administration campaigns and financing, universal franchise afforded to voters, especially to women, youths, and vulnerable groups, conduct of the media, including social media, the use of technology in the electoral process, and the result management system, amongst others. The team's media analyst, Interlease, revealed that a statement of preliminary findings will be released by the mission's chief observer, Barry Andrews, at a press conference a day after the elections. And back here, residents of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital, have lamented the unavailability of the redesigned Naira notes and charges from point-of-sales operators (POS). They complain that most POS have closed down, while some have no new notes to pay due to the situation, adding that the few that have charged exorbitantly.
Just coming out from the bank, I went to get money. The crowd was too much and I didn't have any money on me. So coming out, I had to trek. I went to the POS, they didn't have, I've been to like 10 POS, there was no money anywhere. And even the bank, they are still giving old notes. You get, so when you want to get something from these local people who don't understand how the system works, they will reject the money. They'll say they are looking for the new note, and the bank are not issuing the new note. And besides, you can't even get to the bank. The crowd there alone is too much. People are not able to get money. People said, like the people I met today, they said they've been here for the last 3 days, since Monday. They've not been able to get even 1,000. People are shedding tears.
According to PS operators, 10% of charges on every transaction is due to insufficient circulation of the redesigned Naira notes and the stress involved in obtaining them from the ATMs and banks. They disclosed that they obtain money from petrol stations and supermarkets, paying 10% for e-transactions.
Using money to buy money now because there's no money.
From business center now, like supermarket, filling station, like that. When you go there, you have to buy the money. You still deposit the money for them.
In Africa, Tunisian President Kais Saied announced that he has fired the country's foreign minister, Othman Jerandi. The president appointed Nabil Ammar, Tunisia's ambassador to the European Union, to replace Jerandi. He did not give a reason for Gerandi's dismissal. Jerandi is the fourth minister to lose his position this year, with the trade, agriculture and education ministers having already been replaced. Said carried out a series of measures in 2021 to enhance the power of the presidency at the expense of parliament and the judiciary. Still in Africa, Tunisia has reportedly joined the long list of countries that are sending aid to the quick-hit Turkey and Syria. According to reports, President Kais Saied had ordered humanitarian aid for countries including over 15 tons of blankets and food after they were hit by a 7.8 magnitude earthquake which killed and injured thousands of people. Dozens of nations, including the United States, China and the Gulf states, have pledged to help, and search teams as well as relief supplies have begun to arrive the countries by air. On a foreign scene, more than 9,500 people are reportedly killed in Turkey and Syria following the earthquake. According to the country's disaster agency, the number of people killed in Turkey has risen to 6,957. Syrian state media and a rescue group says more than 2,557 people have died in the country. Still on the foreign scene, UNICEF's senior emergency advisor for Syria, Melinda Young, says getting aid into the country's north is very difficult at the moment. Young says many roads are damaged, especially at the main border crossing, making it more difficult to get aid supplies sent across from Turkey to organizations working in Syria. She noted that many water systems in the area are also damaged, adding that the situation is particularly difficult for the children who had gone through years of conflict, with many displaced during that period. And still to come in the news, Igalo gets 122 million naira as Saudi Al Hilal reached Club World Cup final. Stay with us.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my Lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My Lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My Lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my Lord. These cases are in court, my Lord. I'm just reminding your Lordship.
My Lord, sorry, my Lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigeria. From issues on politics,
Hello, Nigeria. I remain committed.
security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
Many thanks for staying with us. On a business news, the stock market suffered 37 billion naira decline yesterday following a 6-day successive bullish run on the floor of the Nigerian Exchange Limited after profit-taking activity. The all-share index slumped by 67.98 absolute points, representing a decrease of 0.13% to close at 54,299.76 points. Similarly, the overall market capitalization value lost 37 billion naira to close at 29.576 trillion naira. Still in business, the Nigerian Exchange Limited has set up its digital and technology products advisory panel as part of its plans to expand its digital transformation agenda. The agency disclosed this in a statement signed by its head of marketing and corporate communications, Clifford Apollo. It said the panel will be providing a gathering for the company to meet with the capital market community and the financial technology ecosystem to expand its digital product offerings. The company hinted that the panel will oversee provisions of insight into product innovation and proposing ways to increase its technology listings. On Herald News, the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Hanire, has said that Nigeria's participation in the pandemic treaty would strengthen her healthcare system as well as build resistance against pandemics. Hanire stated this during a high-level meeting on Nigeria's engagement on the pandemic treaty and IHR amendment in Abuja. The minister said the rapid spread of COVID-19 had shown that global health threats cannot be contained by one country alone and that international cooperation was essential to prevent and respond to pandemics. Hanire said the Nigeria's pandemic treaty participation had many benefits, adding that the country can adapt the treaty's provision to suit her needs as well as protect the citizens against pandemics. In the meantime, the Director General of the World Health Organization, WHO, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, has said that continued aftershocks, severe winter conditions, and damage to roads power supplies, communications, and other infrastructure have continued to hamper access and other search and rescue efforts in Turkey and Syria. Dr. Gabriel Yasses, who said these at the 152nd session of the Executive Board on the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, noted that the organization is dispatching 3 charter flights to both countries with medical supplies, including major surgical trauma kits. Recall that a 7.8 magnitude earthquake devastated Turkey and Syria, leaving over an estimated 9,000 people dead and thousands injured. The earthquake is said to be the largest and deadliest one to hit Turkey in decades. In sports, Saudi Arabia Prince Al Walid Saud has promised to give Nigerian international Odion Igalo and other players of Saudi club Al Hilal 1 million Saudi Riyal each for reaching the club World Cup final. According to reports, the Saudi prince also pledged 1 million to each player if they win the tournament. The Nigeria Professional Football League (NPFL) revealed this in a statement posted on their Facebook page. A statement added that Al Hilal beat Copa Libertadores champions Flamingos in the semi-finals to reach the final and will be facing the winner from the Al Ahly of Egypt and Real Madrid match in the final. In basketball, LeBron James finally eclipsed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the most prolific scorer in the National Basketball Association history, breaking a 39-year-old record that many throughout basketball believe would never be beaten. The Los Angeles Lakers star, playing in his 20th season in the NBA, passed Abdul-Jabbar's long-standing total of 38,387 points after nailing a 21-foot shot late in the third quarter against the Oklahoma City Thunder. James flung his arms aloft in relief as the arena erupted in wild celebration at his new record of the 38,388 points. Abdul-Jabbar, sitting outside, was among the first to congratulate James as play was interrupted to salute an iconic moment in NBA history. Meanwhile, James also paid tribute to NBA Commissioner Adam Silver and his predecessor, the late David Stern. On our entertainment news, Marvel superheroes began their return to China's massive movie market after an apparent ban of nearly 4 years, with fans streaming into cinemas to watch Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. The Disney-owned studio's hugely popular franchises have been absent from Chinese screens since 2019 with no explanation. Marvel blockbusters have raked in billions globally, and their return to one of the world's biggest movie markets means millions of dollars in potential earnings for Disney. The first Black Panther film alone took in $105 million at Chinese cinemas. The end of the apparent block on Marvel films has coincided with China's loosening of the strict zero-COVID policies that disrupted its entertainment industry for years. Still on entertainment, Afrobeat singer Temilade Tems Openiyi has expressed delight over winning her first Grammy. The Tri-Me singer also revealed in a Rolling Stone interview that working with American singers Future and Drake was a dream come true. Tems' performance in Future and Drake's hit song Wait For You earned her a Grammy in the Best Melodic Rap Performance category on Sunday night. In the interview, the singer says winning the Grammy was just the beginning for her. A 27-year-old who collaborated with Future, Rihanna, Drake, and Beyoncé last year was nominated for a number of awards, including Album of the Year and Best Melodic Rap Performance for her work with Future. She also made a guest appearance on Beyoncé's Renaissance, which was featured on the Renaissance album. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum TV News at 2. I am Francis Edit. Many thanks for being there and to have a lovely day.